I've noticed recently that a lot of people have been asking what type of sleeves you should use. And while there are different answers to that question, specifically for like playing purposes, as someone who cares a lot about what their cards look like, I wanted to answer this question 100% in the context of deck profiles, specifically for actual channels and not deck profiles after events, because then you're just using the sleeves that you played with. I've been in deck profiles for a long time now, so I think I kind of know what I'm talking about here, and I wanted to answer some questions and show you 4 different types of sleeves that I believe are worth discussing. So the first ones, and I have the Dragon Rulers here, and I don't know where my Tempest is, so I had to grab a second Redox or whatever. So can we get a comment for rest in peace Tempest, because I can't find it. Anyway, these are the 4 different types of sleeves that I want to talk about. These two are, I think, let's see. This one's player choice. This one's Ultra Pro, the newest Ultra Pro. This is the ones that you see some people use for extra decks. And then this is an Ultra Pro Pro Mat sleeve. I will add in here that I don't buy Pro Mat sleeves or matte sleeves that are matte on the front. I think they're the worst type of sleeves, and I'll talk about that in a second here. But I've looked at a lot of sleeves that are matte on the front, and I honestly believe they all have the same problems that this one does that I'll talk about in a second. So I don't have like hyper matte or anything, and I don't have the Ultra Pro Eclipse sleeves, but I feel that they all suffer from the same problems. Talk about that in a second. When I started noticing this kind of differences was when I was actually doing feature match articles at Konami events, because I noticed that some sleeves didn't take pictures quite as well. They just didn't look as good, and then I started like analyzing my own deck profiles. But I believe that the two best options are the Ultra Pro or Player's Choice. You can see here that these give. Wait, let's let the camera focus. These give by far the cleanest look of the picture if we focus there. You can see the card; it doesn't obscure any of the colorings. The foiling looks really great. Some people don't like how Ultra Pro has their little stamp on it, but in the very newest one, the stamp is actually clear, so you can barely see it. I also believe that Player's Choice has sort of gone down in quality over the years. They don't last very long, so I'll just full disclosure, I use Ultra Pro without the matte finish for all of my events pretty much. They're just, I feel like, the best to play with and the best in terms of how they look on camera. Some other brands maybe excel at one of those, but not both of them, in my opinion. I don't know. I think they're pretty cheap as well. This one looks really nice as well. So these came in starter decks at one point, I believe. You can see though, it does give a pretty clean foiling, especially a lot of people ask about my lighting setup, but I turn off all the lights in the room, and then I have my camera light, so it gives this really, really crisp image, in my opinion. Sometimes it can be kind of reflective though. These ones I feel look clean, except they reflect way too much light. If I go through here, that can be a definite problem. They look good in extra decks. You would never play with these in a tournament though, so they're kind of cumbersome to do deck profiles with, because you can only sleeve them on decks that like you're not using in a tournament. I actually believe that most Konami official sleeves are exactly like that. They usually have pretty clean, clear images that you can see, but they don't last very long, so I wouldn't recommend that. Lastly, matte sleeves. Here's the problem with matte sleeves, is they look really bad in terms of showing off the foiling. They just look dull. I guess if we compare it to this one, it's a little easier to see. This is noticing that on camera, it's not as easy to see. But, no, you can see right there, and especially because this is the same exact card. The colors, let me focus the camera. The colors on this one are just so much cleaner. The colors on the matte one, they're just not as good. The foiling isn't as, like, prominent, and that makes sense, too. It's a matte finish, so it's basically no sheen to it, except it's sort of... The Ultra Pro Pro Mats actually aren't that rough, but I've felt Hyper Mats before, and they are. But you can kind of see here, maybe it doesn't matter to you guys, but I don't know. I think that this one clearly looks a lot better. I know a lot of people like the Eclipse sleeves. They're actually quite expensive. I know a lot of people like Hyper Mats as well. But I just can't really get with them. I just don't think they look... Yeah, it's kind of hard. I guess at that angle, you can kind of see how this one's like crystal clear. This one is sort of not even sort of not. It's just definitely not. And I think when you do an entire deck profile with matte sleeves, maybe they don't look super different when you put them this far away from the camera, but a lot of times I have my profiles a lot closer. I don't know. I just feel that when we compare it to the exact same card here, that this one just looks so much better. You can just see the foiling better when you flip it towards the camera and stuff like that. I know a lot of people like the matte finish sleeves. I just really don't. And yeah, so the sleeves that I'm using in basically every deck profile that you see are either going to be the most modern Ultra Pro. I do have tons of Ultra Pro sitting around, or old school Player's Choice, because I have those from like all the deck. Because there's like 3 years where I just use white Player's Choice, so I just have these lying around everywhere. So they pop up a lot. But the ones that I play with right now and have been playing with for like 2 years now have been the Ultra Pro without the matte finish. But a lot of it's personal preference. But when you look at like feature matches, especially if you go back to some of the feature matches that I've written, you can like tell when there's two opponents and one of them has the pro mat and one of them has the just regular sleeve. You can tell which one is just a lot better looking. That's really what it comes down to. So I didn't mean to offend anyone with this video. I do believe that it's your choice, obviously your money. I personally, though, when you put them all like this, I personally feel that these three just look leaps and bounds better than any matte finish. And I don't know. I actually just don't understand matte finish in general, why people like that. But especially for videos, I feel like you want the cleanest image so people can see your cards, and I don't feel that the matte finish does that. So that was sort of my 2 cents. This is just a question that keeps popping up, so I wanted to answer it in video. Anyway, though, I'll see you guys later.